All right, I am joined by Cavaliers guard Sam Merrill as we head into the postseason. Sam, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Not too bad. Thank you for coming back on. You're officially a friend of the pod, which I'm
Yep.
sure is quite the honor for you.
Of course.
Probably going right up on the mantle. We'll send you a plaque. First off, thank you and congrats on an amazing season. I want to start with the really important, gritty stuff, which is all the practice shenanigans you guys have had this year, playing football, playing soccer. We had Dean on earlier in the year, and I asked like, who stands out, and he mentioned your name as a standout performer. Uh, are, are you willing to say you're the best multi-sport athlete on the team?
Yeah, I don't think it's debatable. Uh, I mean, I played three sports in high school. I don't know how many guys played even two. I know Max played baseball. I will say a sneaky good because there's athleticism like jumping, running, which obviously on an NBA level is not quite my strong suit. And then there's athleticism of being able to pick up things and play other sports and stuff. But a sneaky good athlete on our team is Craig. He can pick up things pretty quickly, and he does a pretty good job as well. But yeah, me, Max, Craig, Dean, a little bit. It's crazy. You see some of these guys who are the best athletes in the world try and play pickleball or swing a baseball bat or something like that, and it's not pretty.
Well, shouts to Craig, shouts to you. Moving on, Ty Jerome was just recently on doing a little bit of an interview, and he got asked who the biggest trash talker on the team was, and he threw out your name as a sneaky, like, everyone thinks Sam is this nice guy, but he's got an edge to him. You have any response to Ty throwing you under the bus like that?
No, I appreciate him noticing. I'm not a trash talk. You'll never see me say anything like to another player on another team during a game. But yeah, I can see where he's coming from. I'll say some things on the bench to my teammates about other players or make jokes in practice or whatnot or in the locker room. So I do appreciate that he notices that I do have that little edge to me.
Yeah, we're all nice when we want to be,
Yeah.
but when the competitive juices get flowing, you can't help it deep down, even if you're not externalizing it too much. I want to pivot to the macro season. Obviously, it's been an unbelievable year. How much was the fact that this was basically a roster run back? Obviously adding Ty to the rotation was a big change, and obviously DeAndre came in at the deadline. But
Mhm.
for the most part, teams don't normally run back their top 11, 12 guys in the rotation. How much did that mean to this roster coming in, and and how much did that kind of precipitate this bananas season that you guys just had?
Yeah, I do think it's really important. It obviously speaks to the belief that the front office and the new coaching staff had in this roster and what the roster's been able to do up to this point. Like you said, Ty coming in and having a great year has been big for us. But then we live in such a 24-hour news cycle world where everyone wants to change something if it doesn't work right away. But like look at the seasons that Darius and Evan had, the improvements that they made. Darius, coming back from everything that he had to go through last season, and Evan just getting better and better. Like those are big things. And then, all of us role guys finding ways to get better and finding ways to help the team along with, everything that the new staff brought. I think that all played a part in it.
Yeah, well, I do want to dig a little further on that because we also have seen the other side of the coin in NBA history. We've had a team where, hey, we're going to run it back one more year, and the vibes are just wrong. Like things did not, you could tell that a team had run its course, after 2, 3 years together. Why wasn't that the case here?
Uh, we just we don't have any bad dudes on our team. And that's seems pretty simple, but like there's when your stars have no ego, and obviously, listen, they're superstars, like they got some alpha to them, right? But like Donovan is a great leader. Darius has been a great leader this year. Um, you got Jay, who's the most low maintenance guy in the league, probably. And then you got Devin, who's trying to find his way, obviously as like a star. But he's also super low key, super low maintenance, really quiet. Like that type of stuff isn't as common as I think people would like. So I think that was a huge reason why we were able to run it back and have the success that we've had at this point.
Yeah, it's another like feather in the cap for the front office, right? That they've built a team of genuinely pretty good dudes, and even from a very far away seat, it's pretty clear, and to your point, like everyone's gonna have ego, like it's an occupational hazard, like you
Mhm.
probably need some of it if you're going if you're gonna make it in this
Yeah.
league, but being genuinely kind and friendly goes a long way. Going from the mental side to the physical side, and I'm furiously knocking on wood all over my office right now. The group's pretty darn healthy coming into the playoffs. How much does that mean in terms of not just the ability to play well in round one, but the ability to kind of extend across the grind of a postseason? Like you've been all the way to the end, and won a title with Milwaukee. Like how important is it to have that starting point be we're pretty healthy, knowing that some physical battles are to come?
Yeah, it's so important. I remember at some point during the season, because everyone's talking about Kenny and the staff have done such a good job of managing minutes and managing loads and whatnot, and trying to get to this point healthy. And Kenny, I think it might have been our first game back after All-Star break, was asking us what's the biggest reason why teams don't win titles, and we were trying to say all different types of things, and he just goes health. Like that's the number one thing you have to have. You have to be healthy. Like if one of your best players gets hurt, you're in real trouble. If a couple of your rotation guys get hurt, you're in trouble. So, um, I think the fact that we're healthy right now is, like you said, it's a huge thing for us, and hopefully, starting with this first round, which is obviously all we're worried about right now, we can continue to stay healthy.
Moving into that minutes discussion, how important and like just kind of nice is it for you as a role player to have a coach that is so I wouldn't say rigid, but like really does believe in his rotation and his rotational philosophy. Like at one point early in the season, my coach like was looking at the check-in time for certain guys in the first quarter and is like, all right, 6 minute timeout. These guys are going to come in. Like, how nice is it for you, especially as a shooter, to like know the routine even all the way into the game rotationally?
Yeah, it's really nice. You generally have a pretty good idea of, like you said, when you're going to go in. So I can start to get my legs moving a little bit a couple minutes before that, do whatever you need to do. Like that's really important. Obviously, playoffs, all bets are off. Like who knows how it's going to go or and whatnot. But you know, Kenny has a belief in this whole roster. He's said it all year, and he's backed it up with the opportunities that he's given us. So, and he keeps saying like it's for moments like this. You never know when you're going to need someone to step up and knock down a shot or get a rebound or make a play or whatever.
How do you kind of balance the playoff mentality? Obviously, this team won mid 60s games and were really really great playing exactly the way you played. How do you balance maintaining your identity as a team versus the little tweaks that you do have to make in a 7 game series when teams are scouting you a lot more thoroughly? They're making more active adjustments. Like, how do you toe that line as a player and as a team and as an organization between here's who we are and here's the things we are willing to kind of adjust and change over the course of a series or a playoffs?
Yeah, like you said, obviously the scouting reports are much more in depth, and the good teams will take certain things away, and you're going to have to adjust to that. And the game does slow down to an extent, but I think it's the teams that get themselves in trouble are the teams that try and play just playoff basketball, right? And walk the ball up the floor the whole time. And just try and mismatch hunt the whole game. Like there are only a few guys in the league that can really, really do that for an entire game and get the right shots for their team. So like you look at, I mean, the Warriors have done it for years. Like the game slows down a little bit, but they can still play with their pace and their cutting and their screening. And you watched Indiana do it last year. Like they didn't slow down. They kept going, kept playing fast, kept playing with pace. So like you said, there's a line of, you know, late in games, you got to make sure you're getting the right shots and getting the ball to the right people and maybe going after certain people. But at the same time, like there's a reason we've been so good. Uh, so let's play that way. Let's keep sharing the ball. Let's keep cutting. Let's keep moving. Uh, I think if you do that, and if you do that with pace, obviously upping the level of physicality and pace and whatnot, you're gonna still get the shots that you want.
All right, last question. How is the team handling goal setting heading into this? You know, is it a one game at a time kind of philosophy, or are you guys saying let's go win a ring?
I think it has to be a little of both. Like, sure, we know exactly where we want to go. If that's no secret. We believe we're capable of that, but you can't get there if you don't win game one. We don't even know who we're playing at this point. So this week's mostly just been about macro playoff ideas and adjustments and just, practicing and competing and getting after it. So, once we know who we're playing, we'll scout them accordingly and try and go win game one and then hopefully try and go win game two. But obviously with the idea that we want to do something special.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on my personal favorite Cavs season as a fan. It was just an absolute honor and joy to watch you. And, I always say that this is our hobby, and you made our hobby super duper fun all year. So thank you very much personally and from Cavs fans everywhere.
Appreciate it, man. Hopefully we can make it fun for a couple more months here.